Academy. In this video, I'm going to focus on exponential equations. You can actually call it indicial equations. Yes, I have a video that I've talked about exponents, indices, or powers. That is rules of indices. I explained the basic rules of indices and all you have to know before coming into this video. So it's just like a prerequisite before coming down to this place. So I'm going to drop a link down below this video so that you can actually go there and understand what indices is all about before coming over to this place. Because this video, I'm just going to focus on solving questions on exponents and indices in algebraic expression. So let's move to it. So before I go into exponential equations proper, I'm going to solve some simple questions that has to do with indices and bring back, that will remind us the rules of indices a little bit. So let us take it as a review into what I really want to do in this video. So let's just solve at least 4, 5 to 6 questions, as the case may be, before we dive into what we want. So I just want to try and make this video to be 30 minutes or thereabouts. So let's look at the following. So evaluate the following. Evaluate the following. So the first thing we're going to look at, the first thing we want to evaluate is q to the power of 1 over 2. Number 2, we're going to look at 16 to the power of 1 over 2. Number 3, we're going to look at 27 raised to power 3. 27b raised to power 3 raised to power 1 to 3. 4, as many as we can look at, 1, 2, 5 to the power of 1 over 2. 5, they are just short solutions. Square root of a multiplied by a. 6, 1000 divided by 8, all to the power of 1 is to 3. 7, cube root of 3p to the power of 9, q to the power of 6, r to the power of 6. Now q is to the power of 7. 16 x to the power of 6, and then y to the power of 12, divided by, this is 12, divided by the square root, or no, the cube root rather, of 3q to the power of 4, p to the power of 9, and r to the power of 6, divided by the cube root of 54 to the x to the power of 3, y to the power of 6. So let's look at these questions first. Let's evaluate these questions first before we jump into exponential equations. So this will actually remind us, it will give us a review of what I did in the other video a little bit. So let's look at it. So let's solve. So let's go to the next slide. So let's solve number 1, which says q to the power of 1 over 2. So let's solve this, evaluate this. This is the same thing as saying q to the power of 1 over 2 is the same thing as saying the square root of q. That's it. That's just it. So that is another way to write it, is there. So the next one is 16 to the power of 1 is to 2, and this is just, this is square root. Now there's no need to put 2 there again. Square root. So the next one is the same thing. 16 raised to power 1 over 2 is just the square root of 16. Plus or minus, which is equal to plus or minus 4. Or some textbook will just tell you 4. Anyone can go. So the third one there is 27b to the power of 3. According to rules of indices, did the same to the power of 3 raised to the power 1 over 3, did the same thing as saying 27 to the power of 1 over 3 b us cube to the power of 1 over 3, and this is the cube root of 27 multiplied by the cube root of b cube, and that will give me cube root of 27 is 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 will give me 27, so 3b. So that is it. The next one, IV, is 125 to the power of 1 over 2. That is just the square root of 125, because any number raised to the power 1 over 2 is the square root of that number. So square root of 125, that will give me 11.18. 11.18. So that is the answer. So the next one, V, is square root of a times a, and did the same thing as saying a to the power of 1 over 2, because that is square root times a. According to laws of indices, this a is the same thing as saying a to the power of 1. So laws of indices, when you have multiplication and you have same base, you retain the base, which is a, and then you add the power 1 over 2. So 1 over 2 plus 1 will give me a raised to the power 1 over 2 plus 1. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3 over 2. So this is the answer. Very simple things. So let's go to the next one. The next one is 1000 divided by 8 to the power of 1 over 3. So this is the same thing as saying 100, that is 1000 to the power of 1 over 3 divided by 8 to the power of 1 over 3, according to rules of indices. And this is the same thing as saying the cube root of 100,000 divided by the cube root of 8, and that is equal to 10 divided by 2, which will give me 5. So that's the answer for that. So let's go to the next one. Of x is equal to 16. So all I have to do here is to accomplish this again. So another way I can solve this is this. We have the square root. Let me use the white. The square root of x is minus 26 to the power of 5x plus 25 what? Plus 25 is equal to 0. So I'm going to solve just 2. So for this one, this is 3 to the power of x. I'll solve 3 into 2 to the power of 3 to the power of x minus 3 is equal to 0. Then the last one is 3 for 2x minus 9 is equal to 0. So let's take it. So the first one is 5 to the power of 2x minus 26, 5x plus 25 is equal to 0. So let's solve this. Let me divide this into 2. So solution. So we're going to say let p be equal to 5x. Let p be equal to 5 to the power of x let p equal to the power of x. So from the equation, we are going to say this is 5. Instead of 5 to the power 2x, it will be 5 to the power x raised to the power 2 minus 26, 5 to the power of x plus 25 equal to 0. So when p is 5x, so this will be p to the power of 2 minus 26p plus 25. So we'll just solve this using factorization method. So if we do that, we're going to have p square minus, so this 25, p square, so 25p minus p plus 25 is equal to 0. So you know how to solve factorization quadratic equation using factorization method. I have a video on this, you can just go down to learn it. So this is p into p minus 25. I have a video on how to do this, how to solve this. I'll drop the link below, you can go down and learn how to do it before coming back here. So p minus 25 factorial to 1 is equal to 0. So we have p minus 25 into p minus 1 is equal to 0. So the first one is p minus 25 is equal to 0, and that gives that p is equal to 25, or p minus 1 is equal to 0, so that gives that p is equal to 1. So but we accepted that p should be equal to 5 power x. So in place of p, so we check for p equal to 25, so we'll put in 25, so 25 is equal to 5 power x. If we solve this, we are going to have 5 raised to the power x is equal to 5 raised to the power 2, that is this guy. So x is equal to 2, or when p is equal to 1, we have 1 is equal to 5 power x. So if we do this, so x will be equal to 0, because we can change this guy to be 5 raised to the power 0 is equal to 5 raised to the power x. So we conclude that x is equal to 2, or x is equal to 0. So let's go to the next one for better understanding. So the next one is solve for x if 2 raised to the power 2x plus 2 raised to the power x plus 1 minus 8 is equal to 0. Let's solve this. Solution. So this is 2 raised to the power 2x is the same thing as saying 2 raised to the power x, or 2 by laws of indices, plus 2 raised to the power x plus 1 is the same thing as saying by rules of indices 2 raised to the power x multiplied by 2 raised to the power 1, then minus what? 8 is equal to 0. So we're going to let k to be equal to 2 to the power of x, so that we can substitute k here. So if we do that, wherever we have 2 raised to the power x, we put in k. So we're going to have k raised to the power 2 plus, this will be k, because this is 2x multiplied by 2, which will give me 2k multiplied by this 2, minus what? 8 is equal to 0. So we can solve that using factorization method. I've taught factorization method of quadratic equations in one of my videos. You can just go down and get it. So if we solve this by factorization method, we are going to have k raised to the power 2 in place of 2k. We are going to have have plus 4k minus 2k minus 8 is equal to 0. So we'll group this, we'll group this. I have taught how to solve this kind of equation. It's called quadratic equation using factorization method. That is what I'm doing here. I've taught it before in one of my videos. You can just go back and see it before coming back. So what is common between k square and 4k? That is k into k plus 4. What is common between minus 2k and minus 8? And that is minus 2. And this will give me k plus 4 is equal to 0. So we have k, this form, k plus 4 into k minus 2 is equal to 0. So we equate each of it to 0. So the first one is k plus 4 is equal to 0. This implies that k is equal to minus 4, or k minus 2 is equal to 0. This implies that k is equal to 2. But remember this. Remember that k is equal to 2 to the power of x. So when k is equal to minus 4, what is x? So we have minus 4 is equal to 2 raised to the power x. In this particular indicial equation, there is no solution. This one, there is no solution here. No solution here. When k is equals to 4, so when k is equal to minus 4, there is no solution. What of when k is equals to 2? When k is equal to 2, we have 2 is equal to 2 raised to the power x. There is an invisible one here. Equate the powers, then x is equal to 1. So two things happened. So the answer to this question is x is equal to 1. So if you put in 1, we have 2 raised to the power 2. We put in 1, we have 2 raised to the power 3. So 2 raised to the power 2 is 4. This is raised to the power 8. So if you do this, 8, 8, it will give you 0. You can test for solution, you can test for no solution. One of them will give you, this is, if you put 1 here, if you put 1 in place of x here, you will have 4. You put 1 in place of x here, you have 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 minus 8, 0. So it's correct. So let me solve the last one and call this a section. So the last one is find x if 3 raised to the power 2x minus 9 is equal to 0. Solution. This should be the simplest. So this is 3 raised to the power 2x minus 9 is equal to 0. I take this guy to the right hand side. I have 3 raised to the power 2x is equal to 9. So I reduce this guy to 3 so that I can equate the powers. So this will give me 3 raised to the power 2x is equal to 3 raised to the power 2. 3 raised to the power 2 is T9. So I equate the powers. So equate the powers or the indices. So this will give me 2x is equal to 2. So divide both sides by 2. This will cancel out. So I have that x is equal to 1. So this is the solution. Okay. Let me add one more one. Let me add another one to make it interesting for everybody to understand. So let's solve for x if 3 raised to the power x raised to the power 2 plus 2 into 3 raised to the power x. All these things are simple. Minus 3 is equals to 0. So first thing we do, we are going to let a number, let me say let p again to be 3 raised to the power x. If we do that, so anywhere we have 3x here, we put in p. So we have p raised to the power 2 plus 2p minus 3 is equal to 0. So using factorization method, you solve this. You're going to have p squared p squared plus 3p minus p minus 3 is equals to 0. Group this guy. So what is common between p squared and 3p? P is common. So we have p plus 3 here into this. What is common between these two? We have minus 1 is common there. So we have p plus 3, which is equal to 0. So we are going to have p plus 3, p minus 1 is equal to 0. Equate each of them. If I equate this to 0, I'm going to have p is equal to minus 3. If I equate this to 0, I'm going to have p is equal to 1. Now recall that p is equal to 3x, as we stated before. So what is x when p is equal to 1? So substituted there, we have 1 is equal to 3 raised to the power x. So we want to make this 1 to look like 3, so that we can equate the power. So this is 1 is the same thing as 3 raised to the power 0, because 3 raised to the power 0 is 1. This is equal to 3x. So if we equate the powers, we are going to have that x is equal to 0. Or when p is equal to minus 3. When p is equal to minus 3, what is x? Yeah. So substituting there, we have minus 3 is equal to 3 raised to the power x. And in this place, we say no solution because of this minus sign here. No solution. So our answer is x is equal to 0 or no solution. So we'll just pick it that our answer is x equal to 0. So I have to say subscribe to our channel as we drop videos to help you in mathematics every week. Thank you for watching.